Hello and welcome to Movies, Films, and Flicks. I am Mark Hoffmeyer, and joining me, Megan Hoffmeyer.
Sarah Newark, DJ Valentine, Billy Business, and Brendan Peters. This is Nani Boetes. It's Nathan Leahy. It's David Cross. It's Jake Lewitt. Norbert Morvan. It's Lisa Leahy. Joey Lewandowski. John Levingood. Professor Mike Dillon. Nick Riak. Niall Moore.
Adam Youngblood Hunt.
Eric Hoffmeyer. It's Johnny Nunn.
Hello and welcome to Movies, Films, and Flicks. I am Mark Hoffmeyer, and joining me are a couple of former Spice Runners. It's Nathan and Elyce Leahy.
How's it going, buddy?
Hello.
Jeez, Rise of Skywalker, y'all. We're doing it.
We're doing it.
Listen, Nathan and I have been doing this series where we talked about Daredevil, and what other rotten? Oh, X-Men Origins.
X-Men Origins,
which was one of the most popular episodes of 2025, by the way.
Heck yeah, it was.
So
I had a lot of rage and just emotion to put into that.
Yeah, and like Evanescence, Bring Me to Life. But yeah, so we're kind of talking about rotten superhero films. Now we've jumped into rotten Star Wars films, rotten according to the tomato meter, not according to people's hearts, but according to the tomato meter. This movie's crazy. So I watched this once in 2019, and it felt, I hate using this term, but it felt like a fever dream because I've never witnessed a movie move this fast. It's
or
like
pivot.
Yeah.
It pivoted like hell from
Like we gotta skip jump. We gotta do this. We're at Burning Man. There's a snake.
You're a Spice Runner.
Yeah.
You're a Jedi. You're a Master. Like what?
Chewie's dead. No, he's not.
What?
Oh wait, we gotta go to we gotta rescue. Yeah, they're all these.
C3PO's dead. You know, like wait, no, or his memory got burnt. No, it didn't. You know,
He just had a stroke.
Look,
That's
Bobby
all.
Frick. It's great. I mean, I'll be the first to admit, though, that I definitely gasped and clutched pearls when I thought Chewie died. I was like, what did they do? In the movie theater by myself, probably on that one. But
I remember when I went, what? I went, they killed Chewie? Like just this whole, but you know what? This movie gives you no time to think about stuff. So it's like, why does that dagger work on the Death Star? Like the Death Star crashed like 20 years ago. Like, why does that work? Like, what is this? What is it? Who are these animals on a Death Star on a planet with hundreds of TIE fighters?
Why is the ocean so crazy over there, but there's no wind over here?
Wait, was the Emperor a clone in Return of the Jedi? Because he was obliterated. So, like, but you know, I didn't think about that anytime the first time I watched it because it was like, vroom, vroom, vroom.
Yeah, you don't really get to absorb. But my favorite question since I watched this whole thing, and Elyce, as you know, you've listened to some of the episodes. Mark and I go off the rails sometimes. So where I know where Exegol was, right? There was a big like storm and solar winds and things you had to go through and so that. How did they get the raw material to the planet over that amount of time to build that massive amount of Star Destroyers?
Nathan.
And hang on, no, we're not going to go to the easy route and say the Force. And how did they recruit so many people? They're the disciples. They're the people to man the Star Destroyers. They're the people to build the Star Destroyers.
No. Hold on. No. There weren't people manning all of the Star Destroyers. Let's back up a hot second. If you recall, there was one ship that was in charge of launching all of them.
There was the
and
command
that was
ship.
The whole point. Yes, but that was the whole point of shooting the command ship and knocking out that signal, was so that the rest of the ships were.
Why is there only one signal?
Well, there's a different question for you.
Hang on. Point of order. You're telling me that only one Star Destroyer had a full crew?
I didn't say it was a good plan. They also built a Death Star with a freaking kill switch.
You know, so, I don't see a full Star Destroyer running on autopilot through AI. Like I know it's the future and everything, but up until that point, every ship is manned fully.
Yeah. Like even if there's a skeleton crew on all of them, that's still thousands.
Yeah. Here's my next question.
And then who are the hooded people?
And then how?
Thank you. And where do they go? Poof. Gone.
Is there food on this? There's no food on this planet?
And they get flown out?
How did they recruit? How did they recruit so many people? If this was supposed to be a big secret, no one knows where it is. Lots of people now know where this place is. If they had, wanted tabs, throughout the first order, like they're renting apartments, like interested in joining a new cult, call
for final order.
Exactly.
Yes, please.
Not first order, final
The
order.
Final
final order.
That's what they mean.
Until
is
the next
this.
order, which is the
And then
just
it's
kidding
the-
order.
So was General Pride, was he, but he worked for the final order,
Man,
correct?
he was
Yes.
an OG.
Where'd he come from?
He's been there. He's been there since
He was in the
First
Rolodex.
Wars. He was like a low tier, I think was the play, right? In the originals. And by originals I mean the 70s, not like that we won't go into the other ones.
No
but
prequel.
Yeah.
No prequel.
No prequel conversation.
I love the prequels.
Another
Because
episode.
there's singular vision. Like Lucas just
They
went in and was
are.
like, like we'll just use green screen and we'll just like see what happens. And,
Well, it's just to make things pop.
yeah,
you
and
know?
just
then go back and mess up the classics. It's fine.
But there's some iconic visuals. Maybe it's just my
Yeah.
age of when I watched those. But this
Don't
one,
make me feel old.
there's like
Don't make me
so like so I was in college when those came out. I had a very great experience in '99 when I was working in a theater and Phantom Menace came out. Grown men were walking out going like, that wrecked my childhood. And like that was the worst thing. And they're like ripping up tickets. Nathan and they're just I'm sure you too, Elyce, but Nathan and I were Comic Cons together for many years, and you just see the worst of fandom. And so I think between the Comic Cons
Man
and watching
babies.
people, man babies. In the words of Jennifer Jason Leigh from Fargo, she calls them babies. But they're like, I think that taught me an important lesson at 17. Just like, these are movies, guys. Like, there's big fish, and they're eating other fish, and there's like a war, and there's some pod racing. Like, I was like,
there's a whole lot of trauma surrounding one family for generations.
Because that's all
Everyone.
entire galaxy, but we just focus on them. But
It's all fucked.
One thing that Elyce and I come back to a lot for like just touching on the people that are so upset over everything, and it's the same thing now with like the Marvel and DC, DC stuff, and even Walking Dead or anything else, or Jurassic Park, Star Trek. Whenever there's these huge franchises that come through, and especially when there are such like long time frames between projects that come out, like number one, it's hard to recreate the magic, but number two, there is so much stuff that is out that's Star Wars now. There's Book of Boba Fett, there's Mandalorian, there's Ahsoka, there's the animated Rebels.
First.
All of these things, like it's like we're eating well, right? There's a lot of content, and there may be some things that doesn't always match up, or maybe one thing falls short.
I think we're at a fire hose.
There's so much Star Wars that's coming out, just like for me, there's so much comic book stuff that's coming out that I can't be upset that there's a Wonder Man show. I would have never thought in a million years there would have been a Wonder Man TV show. But point being is like, yes, there are people that are like, oh, this is the worst. But also it's like, you're getting so much Star Wars content. You should be at least a little bit happy.
No, and listen, I look at it like baseball. If you bat 300, that's you're doing pretty good. And so for Star Wars, I'm totally fine. Like when a Rancor popped up in Book of Boba Fett, I'm like, I love it. Like I'm the most laid back Star Wars fans in the world, because I think, like I said with baseball, it's like not every Star Wars movie is going to be a New Hope or Empire Strike. Like that's comparing. You know what I hate when people are like, you know what, it's not as good as Empire Strikes Back. I'm like, yeah, but what is?
No crap.
Like, that's like
exactly.
Empire Strikes Back is like a 5 home run game, and then the next game you hit 4 home runs, and people are like, that game sucked. No. Like it just wasn't like that's a great game.
Wasn't as good.
Yeah.
Well, then there's also the argument that The Force Awakens is just
a remake,
a New Hope.
It is
shined up and represented, which there's validity in it, but also history repeats itself. So I would argue that they just thought they needed a mulligan. I don't know.
Yeah, I think you're right though, because remember in that era when like Jurassic World was remade, they call them rebootquels. Like Scream, 5 Cream, Jurassic World, Creed, this, like Halloween. It's like, let's just remake the first one and call it a rebootquel, and all of them were wildly successful.
They just called I Know What You Did Last Summer. I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Yeah, another rebootquel.
That's it.
Yeah.
Another rebootquel. I was like, we're not even gonna try.
Yeah, they're just rebootqueling everything now. And and I think people liked it because it sort of captured the first essence. But there were so many complaints by people who are like, it's just New Hope. So then Rian Johnson steps up to the plate and was like,
he's like, watch what I can do.
Pardon my language, but he's like, fuck your couch, JJ Abrams.
Rick James, bitch.
Yeah, and he just stomps on the couch, wrecks the helmet, you're nobody, throw away the lightsaber. And I think fans were like, no, it's too different.
But I loved it.
Yeah.
This is where the hard pivot comes.
But then JJ comes back for Rise of Skywalker. This movie was being written while they were filming. Chris Terrio.
It is so clear they
Yeah.
named the franchise films before they ever conceptualized them. They're like, it's a great name for the last one of this trilogy, The Rise of Skywalker. Fantastic. We'll build it around it. It's like building Frozen around the song.
Oh, that's what it was? Let It Go?
Let It Go. Hell yeah. They made the song before they made the movie.
Well, that's a good song. My daughter loves that now. But no, just like, so, but I think this is going to be a good case study in the future, this trilogy. And it's been talked to death, but it's like rebootable, remake, and then a director who's not interested in any of that. So he doesn't further any of the stories from the first one, kills off the main bad guy, and then hands it off to somebody else who's like,
cool.
Like, there's really no story movement. So how do I finish this third one? So then I think JJ and Chris Terrio were like, well, it can't be Snoke. So who made Snoke? Who's left? And they're like, well, we can't do Kenobi. That's too late because that wouldn't make sense.
Basics.
We killed Han Solo. Carrie Fisher tragically died. They had killed off Luke. And they're like, what's the story?
Really
like Rey and
screwed the pooch on that one.
Like Rey and Ren or Kylo are gonna like work together and just make diplomacy across the world. No. So who do we have? Jabba? Who do we have left?
Dig deeper.
And it's like Palpatine? Yes.
Yeah.
So
he's always the problem.
This movie's crazy.
I mean,
Sorry,
they
I
could
have
have resurrected
issue-
Greedo. They could have resurrected Greedo. I mean, that was
because
an
he would have been
option.
shot
Watto.
immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Immediately. He would have been shot. It'd been done.
That was my twin brother. And I've been behind the scenes ever since doing this,
I've been in the background. I am the puppeteer.
But then that raises, like, Nathan, what I love though is the questions that this raises. What's the final order? Who was Snoke, a clone? A failed clone? Was Rey his daughter or granddaughter? Who are the
granddaughter?
Who are these cloak people? How did they build these? And like I did a bunch of research, and I guess there's a visual dictionary, and what they say is that according to the visual dictionary, these people make up a cult called the Sith Eternal, and they're devoted to Palpatine. And so they were revived, they're revered Darth Sidious through a merging of technology and the occult.
So they're AI fans.
Yeah, they bring him back. And then they spent decades on Exegol crafting their beloved Emperor's new fleet. So the cult had 3 decades after Palpatine's fall and Return of the Jedi to build the ships. And they wasted no time. And so this is all the visual dictionary and the novelization. And so Sith Eternal is made up of very influential people around the galaxy. And then they serve on boards of shipyards. But then they send the parts to Exegol, which is really hard to get to. And they kept that a secret. And then they said the crews of the Star Destroyers look a bit young. It's because of the children of the Sith Eternal faithful. But none of that said in the movie.
Yeah, not at all.
No.
I mean, and it makes me wonder, like, did someone just make this up? like, yes, there are books and there are things going through that could like back it up, but I feel like, remember that one thing I read in the novel back in Part 2? Sith Eternal, we could use that. Yeah, and just like do that, because it's one of the things, like, I mean, is it feasible that could be it? Absolutely. Like, it's when the Empire fell, there are going to be people that are going to be loyal. There are going to be people that aren't going to, just give up. There are going to be people that, have drunk the Kool-Aid so deeply and so thoroughly that, Palpatine being alive or dead is not going to matter. They're going to continue the message or whatever you want to do. So, I mean, I guess that could make sense.
Right. But like none of that's explained in the movie.
Oh, not at all.
So if you're a casual Star Wars fan who knows nothing about the novels or knows nothing about the comics or Clone Wars or any of that, and you're just sitting in a theater and you're like, what
the hell happened?
Are his lightning fingers that powerful? Like,
when did Rey get lightning fingers?
He is all the Sith.
Thousands of ships get through that tiny hole that Rey got through. Like, it's
also true.
But you know what though?
They had to go single file line. Just like in kindergarten,
no, it's like
the wall in the hallway, hand on the wall.
Minnesota.
We're coming.
Yeah.
But it's like yeah. But once again, I didn't think about that the first time I watched it, because this film. So I wrote down how this film plays, and it's like there's multiple acts, but this thing, like, so we learn that there's a mysterious broadcast. Kylo Ren goes and kills a bunch of random dudes, grabs a GPS system,
just wreck and shop.
and then we go to Poe.
Sith Google.
Sith Google. Then Poe starts light speed skipping, which we've never heard before.
But we know the Falcon can't do it.
Yeah, that's.
But I believe he proved that it could.
And then,
but it's on fire,
and had never been talked about before. So you're just like, whatever. And then they're like, oh yeah, Rey. Then Rey's training, but she's with Leia, but she can't hit this droid. And then, but then they do the hunt for the Wayfinder, where like they go to find Lando, and then there's a Burning Man festival.
Yes.
And then they fight some flying stormtroopers, and Rey just jumps over a TIE fighter
because they fly now. Yeah.
And there's a snake. Yeah, they fly now. There's a snake that she heals.
They fly now.
And then there's a necklace, but then there's like a dyad, and then they meet Babu Frick and his ex. He's just trying to get her paid. Kerry Russell's just getting money.
See, guys, we're completely rushing past one. I think the main points of the movie here, had such weight and a big impact.
I don't like where this is going.
Could not have been the same movie had they not been in it. The Knights of Ren.
Oh yeah, the Knights of Ren.
Talk about not explaining anything at all. Hey, these guys are in a flashback in the first movie, so they're associated with Kylo. Kylo needs some backup, but we're not going to explain anything or really show that they're capable. The Knights of Ren, ladies and gentlemen, here you go. Did they do anything in the movie other than slightly be stabbed by the Ben at the end?
No, they stand there and look ominous.
They went to certain planets. They looked for things. They failed at things. They had fairly, intimidating and cool looking weapons. And back on Exegol, they gave Ben a couple boo-boos. And that's essentially it, right?
I have a confession to make about all of this that will, whatever, it is what it is. Nathan knows this, but I am a fan of fan fiction. So I've read quite a bit of this trilogy's fan fiction, and a lot of it includes the Knights of Ren. So there's a lot that
copyright Georgia Lucas. I said unlicensed fan fiction.
Truth.
So how much can we put into this?
Okay, calm your tits. I'm saying that there is actually
the title of one of the fan fiction books.
Calm your tits. It should be. But I will say there is continuity amongst them about like who the Knights of Ren are and where they come from, because they're in one of the books. But to your point before, Mark, of like, if you don't read the books and dive deep into the lore, how the fuck are you supposed to know? Besides the fact they walk in with muddy boots and no regard for cleanliness. Like, that's it. And they show up and they're like, head on a table, bullies, done.
Yeah.
They're like, cool.
And then they just
bad guys.
They're like the Praetorian Guard who just get killed. They look cool, and then they get wiped out. And like, okay. And then so we're at that point in the movie. Jeez Louise. Finn has a secret, but he can never tell Rey, which he never tells her.
Right?
Yeah. And then they go to the desert. There's a speeder chase. She heals a dragon.
Force heal, which is not a common ability, right? So that's a thing. Suddenly, she can shoot lightning from her fingers.
She heals people. So you're like,
we find out Poe's a spice runner.
Yes, former spice runner.
Former spice runner. He's
and
done
his ex
that life.
Has the be all end all key, which she just randomly has. And then there's Babu who wipes C3. Chewie dies. C3PO's memory gets blown up. They bring it back. Then they go to the Star Destroyer and they fail. And like Rey and Kylo have a force projection duel. She learns she's Palpatine's granddaughter.
I have such a bone to pick about that.
And then then they go to a moon. They meet some former stormtroopers, and like on horses. And then she takes like a wave finder to go to the place, and then they fight. And then Leia, she reaches out to Ben, but then she makes a distraction and he gets stabbed, but then she dies. And then she uses the force to heal him, but then Leia dies. And then Han Solo comes out and chats with him. And then they get to like Act 2, where she burns fire X-Wing. Luke comes out and is like, well, I got another one because it's in the water from Last Jedi. So then she flies that away.
Yoink.
And then
don't forget Yoda shows up too.
Yoda's
like, whoa, hey, kids, crazy, huh?
And so he's there, and then they go to they follow Rey's signal to battle at a hidden planet of people, and then they fight each other. But then there's lightning fingers, and there's the triad, and then she's all of the Jedi, he's all of the Sith, and like Rey dies, but Ben
somehow
gives
Kylo
her life
Ren
and like
do parkour, or he's like a free climber. He's like climbing out of that pit.
Oh yeah, and then there's like the Chewie gets a medal. and you're just watching this
And
Oh.
Lando
thing.
gets a mistress,
Lando-
happily ever after.
And
No,
also,
but Chewie getting his medal is a full circle moment for the fandom. He
Oh,
was let
absolutely.
down
So
in A New Hope.
there were a couple full circle moments going through, with Rey being in the X-wing with the actual pilot helmet, and in Force
That she wore
Awakens,
in
she was
the-
sitting there just going through.
Yeah.
And yes, Chewie getting his medal and going. So there were definitely a couple good, like, feel good, oh, that finally happened moments. Don't deny it. Lando has a new mistress.
yeah, well, it's
Well,
apparently supposed to be his
obviously, Lando-
daughter, like Naomi Aki.
Oh yeah,
It's
they like allude to that. That's
but,
the
like,
whole thing.
I think she was brought in to be Finn's love interest, and then Poe gets a love interest because I think they were worried about too much relationship stuff, fan fiction
Because
between Finn
there's
and
so
Poe.
much. Yes, there's
So
so
then they
much
gave them
queer energy
girlfriends.
between them. I loved it, and they killed it, which sucks.
And
Yeah.
then like Rose gets completely sidelined, and
Poor
Dominic
Rose.
Monaghan becomes Beaumont, and there's just, I'm telling you, there's just so
Kelly Marie Tran got totally screwed
so
because people were so
much.
hateful.
And you're just like,
Maz gets benched.
Nas
Where's
gets
Maz?
and you know what's great? There's so
She
many
gave
digs.
Chewie the medal. Okay.
At the end, she was a badass. She's
Yeah.
just like, meh.
And then-
Final battle. I'm
And
good.
it's like the first one, Kylo has a helmet. The second one, he breaks
Yeah.
out. The third one, he has somebody just like weld it back. And then so it's like JJ telling like Ryan's like, I hate your helmet. I'm gonna break it. And then JJ's like, I'm gonna fix that helmet. So then this is like his helmet that's been repaired because there's so many pieces just glued together.
Yep,
And then
with
but then you also have
fire.
Billy Lord in here. You have to deal
Yep.
with like
Oh,
there's
she was
horses.
the body stand-in for
Yeah.
like young Leia.
And like she was
Hiccups.
cool. And listen, I love Sheev Palpatine. And then Hux gets killed because he's the traitor. This movie's crazy. And
It is batshit crazy.
I don't know if it's good, but the fact that it's so propulsive makes it very watchable because you're just going,
Because
where am I?
I don't think you have time to really process what you're watching, and you're just like, oh, there's lots of Star Wars happening in front of me. Like I'm gonna enjoy the spectacle. I have serious heartburn still about the fact that Rey wound up being Palpatine's granddaughter. I was like, I loved the idea that she was a nobody with all this power. Like that was, yes, I realized to your point. JJ was like, nah, I don't really care about what you did
Yeah.
in The Last Jedi. But the fact that she would have all this power as an entity in and of herself was like a message to the universe that like it could be any of you. Like that little kid who like sweeps at the end of Last Jedi. It's just like he's got the skills, right? That's supposed to be, I think, what Finn is like alluding to is like, hey, I got a little touch of the Jedi in a not creepy way, but like I have it and I can, and like Rey.
You
And
know
then it
what
just
that
like all
means?
goes out the fucking window.
You know what that
And then we're back to
means?
one Oh, I'm sorry, two families if you count the Palpatines and the Skywalkers.
That's how
And
they're just
it.
gonna keep the franchise going. The kid with the broom is another Palpatine. That's gonna be episode. That's gonna be
Ugh.
That's gonna be.
Little did we
episode
know
10,
he was
11, and
also
12.
sperm donating in all of this
Yes.
scenario.
There's like a million
Ugh.
Palpatines out there. Like he's just
God,
a
it's
bunch
so
of
gross.
kids
So much incest.
flopping
You
around
don't
the
think
universe.
that the Emperor had mistresses, Mistress I?
No, I'm sure
went
he
around?
did. However, can we not procreate? I feel like at that point when you've been
How else
regenerated
is
so
he
many
gonna
times, I don't think your
rebuild the
junk
Sith
works.
nation?
Is he a clone in Return of the Jedi?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, I have no doubt about that. I believe that.
Nathan,
firmly.
what
I
do
don't
you
know if it's
think?
actually said.
Is he a clone in Return of
Because
the
he gets
Jedi?
destroyed.
Well,
He gets thrown
Yeah.
like a quarter mile down a hole. It
Yes.
explodes, and then the entire Death Star explodes. So
you know what?
Mhm.
I'm gonna
Then he's
throw a
just like-
curveball here.
Oh,
Was he a clone? Absolutely not. He was, however, a life
Oh,
model
Jesus.
decoy, a la Nick Fury.
No,
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
not crossing streams here.
Oh no, we are. No,
well, Sam Jackson's
look,
in
it's
this
the
world.
future. If they can have
Oh,
life model
Don't support
decoys
him, Mark.
in modern day Shield, they can
Ugh.
absolutely use this technology.
But that's
in a
essentially
galaxy far, far away.
Nathaniel, that is essentially what a clone is. So calm.
No, not at all.
Yes.
We can break it down.
so it's not the
Clone is
real.
gen-
We can all agree it's not Palpatine.
Yes, I think that's the moral of the story here. Yes.
So he's just on this planet, hooked up to tubes, being cloned
He's like,
and having
bring
children.
my fingers back. I'm here. Can't move anything. Can't function, but I am powerful somehow. Yeah.
This is crazy. And
What I cannot grasp is this concept of like, I made them a dyad in the Force. So what does that mean? Is the idea that like somehow he imbued, right word? Yeah. Gave them this power himself? But how? Because it went through his, I mean, how would it get to Kylo if it wasn't like part of his genetic line? Like,
Well,
how did
they were.
he somehow magically make this happen?
I mean, I guess it could be argued that he put some sort of his not genetics, but his essence or whatever into
Ugh,
Vader. I
I don't
know,
like that
that's
word.
the word that I chose. We're gonna deal with it. He put his
Gross.
essence into Vader through his teachings and molding and everything through the Force,
Oh,
through the dark
gross.
side,
Through the
and
force.
through
Great.
the Force,
Love
through
it.
the dark side. The Force could do so. Force
I
could
mean,
do
it's
so
in the
many
air,
things.
right?
Why
It's in the
can't it
air.
not do this? He
It's in the
forces it
air.
in. So he
Midichlorians.
forces it in. He forces in the midichlorians. But no, I think it can be argued that with
Jesus.
his manipulation of Anakin / Vader and the things going through, that there could be some sort of Palpatine that is passed down to Luke Leia that is then passed down to Ben.
That's giving a lot of credit to Palpatine for being like the source. Like he's essentially in a
This is
Christian
what we have to
reference,
work with,
Yeah,
okay?
God or Jesus. Like, how did he?
Wait,
Why did he
well,
get
he
all the
kind of
power?
is though, right? Because he made Snoke.
His
He
firstborn
did make
son, and he
Snoke.
sacrificed him for the
Yeah,
purpose.
and like so he's because
Oh my
Snoke's in those
God.
jars.
Yeah, lots of Snokes. Why did he keep making Snokes after Snokes was killed? Snoke, not plural. Snoke
You
was
know,
killed.
his
Like, why are we still making copies?
maybe his
Does he
followers
just
make
like
some
it?
mistakes. Like, from what I read, it's hard to control all of his force. So a lot of the bodies that they make for him just break down. That's why he's so crusty in the
He's just
movies.
that potent.
Yeah, because he's when he
They
starts
can't
finger
find his
shooting,
shell.
his body wears down. His clones can't
Oh,
handle it.
that's
So
brutal.
I mean, he's been at this planet for a long time. Because
Yeah.
wait, is the guy in the prequel a clone? Then yes, the guy in the prequels is a clone. What?
No.
But when he says
No, that's
infinite
the
power,
He's the
like,
yeah,
OG.
that's OG. Thank you.
but
He's the OG, I think.
but then he goes to Exegol and makes clones, and then puts his whoever,
Well,
whatever
if
you
you
want to
looked
call it.
like that, would you not go hide on a hidden planet somewhere and make clones of yourself?
Interesting. This movie's crazy.
Hey guys, here this may help out. I looked up the definition of a dyad: two persons involved in an ongoing relationship or interaction. So it has nothing to
So
do with genes.
it's not a
just their
split of power.
it's their
The way you
proximity feelings and
Oh, okay.
maybe touching
Got
the
it.
sexual healing.
bumping uglies. Yeah, I mean maybe, but like yeah, he positions it like he's the reason they have it. And I think we all are just like, oh, right, of course. Palpatine gave them the powers. This makes sense. But like Snoke kind of said the same thing, but then that also meant that Palpatine did it. But then also, couldn't they just be full of shit? And like they're both powerful Jedis in their own right
They
and have some
could,
sort of deep connection,
but
even though they've met once.
if he's
I don't know.
talking about him being the one that made the dyad, and if the dyad is just a strong relationship and interaction, then clearly
Mm.
he had a very strong hand in making Rey, and then he also
Ew.
had a hand in pushing Kylo to go after her, to find her, to do all
That,
these things.
yes.
So, and through Snoker himself or whatever you want, is like, you must find the scavenger. Oh, bring her to me. So that was
Well, like he
probably what
lost
he
her
meant.
like a puppy?
But
He was like,
honestly,
oh crap, like bring her back. I need that.
the average Star Wars fan doesn't know what the hell a dyad means. Anyways, I had to look it up. So,
Well,
why
You know
didn't they look
okay.
it up prior to the movie, Mark, or afterwards for
You know
that
what I call
matter?
this
They
movie though?
did.
This is a survival movie. So I've read, there's a lot of films that get made that don't have finished scripts. Like there's that Poseidon with Kurt Russell and several of the movies where they're immense productions. There's a lot of moving parts, and we'll get to how much money was wasted on this movie. Like they didn't need the Burning
Oh.
Man. They spent months prepping that Burning Man scene. And
They had locals
who's the
learning the
snake?
dance.
Yeah, like who's the snake? Like, what do you
Choreographers.
like? What do you? What? Why? Like what?
Listen, guys, they had to
Do you
set it up
think-
so that when they asked her name and she's like, Ray, she's like, they would like to know
Ugh.
your surname. I don't have one. Just
I
so
think
at
that-
the end of the movie, she could say, you know what?
stop. I don't like it.
Light bulb,
I don't like it.
Ray
I don't like it at all.
Skywalker.
I hate it.
My name
so
is Ray.
much.
Instead of Seal Bibble, she's like, my name is Ray Bibble. Everyone's like, what?
What?
And then this cut.
It's like it's fine.
The
No?
Adventures of Ray
No?
Bibble will
No?
continue.
I
But
guess that's not as strong of a
still,
name.
this movie, I think, is a survival movie where
Yeah.
everything I heard from Chris Terrio and J.J. Abrams is that getting to set each day was a victory. Like, I think they had to hurry this film up. They had a script from Colin Trevorrow. And after they watched that really bad movie with Naomi Watts, they're like, yeah, you're out of here. And so Kathleen Kennedy didn't find a script. So they're like, hey, JJ, Chris, just write something. So then two of them are like, well, we wrote Force Awakens. And then Ryan is like, Ryan basically threw it all out the window, which is
Your
fine.
couch.
There's nothing
Yep.
wrong with that, right? Like it's just what. Well, there is something wrong. You should never go into a trilogy like that. But I love that happened. But then
I do
JJ's
too,
like, well,
actually.
okay, so I made a movie. It just got stomped on. So now I got to make another movie to finish this trilogy.
Yeah.
And you're like,
It's like all these loose strings, and he's like trying to patch it all back together. He's like,
Yeah.
can I go back to what I wanted?
and so like they don't have time for scripts. I don't think. I think Kathleen
No.
Kennedy pulled the hammer a little bit and made them
Well,
like they didn't have. So Ryan Johnson had creative control on Last Jedi. This one they did
Mhm.
not. So I think
correct.
between them rewriting the script every day, you talk to Daisy Ridley. She thought she was going to be an Obi-Wan Kenobi daughter. You talk
Yes.
to Adam Driver.
all
He
wanted
was
it.
gonna turn evil the whole way, but everything changed. So I think they were just trying to survive on this movie. They're like,
I have a pivot point for you, or a
Oh, yeah, here,
catalyst
yeah.
for that. Carrie Fisher's death.
yeah, that was another
because
pivot
they
point.
because they wrote the film around the footage they already had shot of
Yeah.
her. So like you can tell when like Rey's talking to her and she's like, I know it seems like I'm, putting it off, and Leia's like, I don't care about what it looks like. Tell me what it is. And it's like these moments of this heavy-handed dialogue because it's what they had. And then like
Yeah.
we got to use it. Carrie Fisher's in it. How are we going to make like an homage to her? We can't just be like, whoops, she survived this explosion in space, but somehow didn't survive this jungle planet. It wouldn't make sense.
She had
So
to
it's
use
like-
the last of her power. Maz said so.
Yes, to do
Like
what
Luke.
though? To like she gave the last of her goods, which also sounds creepy, to her son? Like
Yes.
to be like, survive, don't be a dick. Here's
Well, she
my
didn't-
good force.
Did she say all that? Because all she said was
No.
quietly whispering, as the subtitle said, Ben. That's all she did.
Yes, but why would she do that? Because remember,
Because she
what?
distracted him so that Rey could deliver the lightsaber
No.
through the lung.
Imagine if she said, "Stop being a dick."
yes, if she was like,
Like,
hey,
Ben.
pull on your big boy pants and stop being an asshole. That would have gone a lot further, and she
Be
would
an
have lived.
adult.
Yeah.
Yes.
Remember when we had to deal with her in Chicago? By the way, you remember
Go
that,
with
Nathan?
her. She is a delight.
Carrie Fisher.
I don't
Even if
know
she's
if I
not a
was
delight.
at that show.
She just does her own thing, and we had to stay there very late.
Dude,
Yeah.
as well you should.
Yeah, and
Have
we
you
did.
read her autobiography, Mark?
No, I know, but I know about her. She's had a crazy life, right?
She's had a crazy life. She's had shock treatment and is all about R.I.P.
Yeah.
was all about discussing it. I woke up to a dead husband or fiance. Cool. Don't remember that anymore. Got shock treatment for that one. She's a badass.
Like she passes away, right? I
Mhm.
really think this movie, they had a deadline set and they're like, just make it. And so this wasn't about writing a perfect script. And also too, I think JJ, he'll never admit it, but
Mhm.
that lightsaber scene. So Mark Hamill, on the extras for Rise of Skywalker, I'm not starting rumors here. He was not happy about Last Jedi.
No.
On
Oh,
this
he
film,
was so verbose about it. Yeah.
on this film, on the behind the scenes docs, he's like, I'm so happy to have the optimistic guy. So they brought him back to change that. The lightsaber scene. Also, I think that droid who's abused and they're like, people didn't treat you very well.
Oh.
Like I feel like that is a talk of like Ryan Johnson. Also, there's other
Mhm.
callbacks to from like, oh, the holdo thing. They're like, yeah, it never
Mhm.
work. And it's one of a million. And they just like they do a lot of work to undo that instead of furthering
Yeah.
the story. But
Yes, they undid so many things in that first section of the film that you're just like, did we not just spend 2 hours? No. Okay,
it's like
got it.
the second film did that.
Cool.
Let's just
Here's where you go, Mark. You give freaking Kylo Ren, aka Ben Solo, the redemption arc that man deserved. Yeah, he probably should have been executed at the end of all of it, but he should have come out of that one an asshole. And
my
then,
bad.
my bad, guys. Sorry, I was all crazy
Yeah.
and stuff. And now I'm on the good side of the force. And yeah, I probably am not a good person anymore. So you should probably arrest me or kill me or whatever. But also, like, it's the Rise of Skywalker. There's no way on the planet Earth that when they picked the name for that film, they were like, you know what's going to happen? The Scavenger. She's going to take on the name all on her own.
Guys,
That's
I
it.
figured it out.
That's how
Hang
it's gonna
on.
go.
No,
I hate
Epiphany.
it.
Hang on. Why it's the Rise of Skywalker. And I know
you.
why at the end she's Rey Skywalker.
No.
Guys,
I don't like
she's
it already.
all the Jedi.
Oh,
I
yeah.
hate you.
She's all the
Oh.
Jedi. They
I
all
hate you
live
so
in
much.
her. Why she could have been
She
Rey
could pick
Windu.
any name
She
then.
could be Rey Windu. She could be
No.
Rey Kenobi. She
She
could
should have
be
been Rey Kenobi
Are they
Rey-
chatting with her all the time?
Gon Jinn. Anything.
all the time.
There
No.
you go. That's it. The
No.
movie's great now.
You're the worst.
She has all the Jedi.
Ray's like,
she's
and she's still sliding down that hill on her little can, like on the little lid of the trash can. It's like, woo! At the end, after she's fucking saved the universe.
Yeah, full circle moment.
Daisy
I'm
Ridley,
sliding down from scavenging. I'm sliding down for burying some lightsabers.
the biggest thing about the best thing about this franchise is the casting, though. I mean, I like Daisy Ridley a lot. John Boyega is good. You know, Adam Driver, put Oscar Isaac. There's an embarrassment. Like, even, you know, Naomi Aki, she's a great actor. She's in Sorry Baby, Mickey 17. Kelly Marie Tran's really good. Richard Grant, Donald Gleason, Harrison Ford. Like, you have an incredibly I mean,
Gwendolyn Christie.
Yeah, like,
also
Gwendolyn
underutilized.
Christie, an amazing cast. So I think even when this film is moving, every 2.3 seconds there's a new plot line. But
yes,
it's nice.
Too much.
Just like, hey, there's Poe talking about being a spice runner with his ex-girlfriend who plays no part in this movie. There's
none.
BBO, like, he has like, it's C-3PO loses memory, Chewie's dead, he's back, like this. But the whole time you're just like, hey, this is bright, this is shiny, and it's moving so fast that so that's why I find it impossible to dislike this film. One, because it's insane. Two, because of the first two films did not do it any favors. There was so much meddling going on with it. The writer has complained about it. Like, I love that John Boyega in the interviews, he's like, I'm just glad we're back to where we were at the first one. I'm like, geez Louise. Everyone's
John Boyega's just so happy to be at the party. He's like, yes. Remember, he talks about that. He's like, he even said that in his SNL skit he did one time when he was like, they did like the fake auditions. And he was like, Black Stormtrooper? Yeah, right. And he's like, oh no, for real? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, oh, all right, sweet.
I think it falls into the same thing that a lot of movies do that could have very well been good. I mean, Mark, you and I have talked about so many times, like, I still have hope for X3.
Yeah.
Like, every time I see it, I was like, maybe this one time I'll catch something. But they put too much story. They try to give everyone their own moment. They try to do these things. And honestly, like, Jannah could have not been in it. I appreciated the fact that it was all that it came back to Finn of like, oh, there are more stormtroopers that came out of it, and he was the impetus of this and going through, and he had that connection. Or like, that's good stuff, but they didn't give it the time that was needed to explore it fully to give it that weight. They just kind of went like, oh, other stormtroopers that aren't stormtroopers anymore? Cool, let's ride.
I would say that perhaps this was also like let's just set up a whole lot of maybes at the end of this film that we can do spin-offs of. We can do series spin-off. We can do, you know, here's Lando and his maybe daughter finding out they're maybe, you know, dad and daughter, and like, here's their little bonding road trip,
she's his mistress. We've already settled this.
No, you said that. No one else said that except you.
And Zori
Mark laughed, which means he agrees.
And Zori, you know, they were like, you know what? That's how they got Carrie Russell, I'm sure, to do it. This is like, hey, guess what? We're gonna put you in the last one. We're gonna set up a whole, like, alluding to this backstory so we can do a prequel of your relationship with Poe. There you go. Sign on. And she's like, absolutely. Although she's not by any means the biggest name that they signed on. But why else? Like, there's so many, to your point, there's so many storylines exposed or showcased or just like, you know, peppered in.
Just touched on. We're still going to sprinkle this little
just a little
pebble in here that could be this bigger thing. No, not this time.
I would love to watch a whole, like, Babu Frick, like, repairing cars show. Like, I'd be here for it. But, like, they peppered it in everywhere. And I feel like it was like a, you know, like a catch-all. It was like, I don't know what to do. What do we do? I don't know. Let's end it like this so then we can do whatever the fuck we want afterwards. And people be like, oh, you know what? They set that up in Rise of Skywalker. And like, but they haven't. That's the thing. Is then on the flip side of that, we're coming out of it and they're like, oh, let's talk about, you know, someone else.
You know, you two are making a great point about how much was splattered into this movie, because if you look, but this is tough to say, but if you look back at like New Hope, right? Great world building. There's a lot of characters, but there's not a lot of characters, but it's a very familiar story. But then you go to Empire. I know they introduce like Boba and Billy D. That's about it. Like there's not too many new characters. And you know how much time is taken on Hoth? How much time at Cloud City?
Well, technically it's also the first time we see Jabba too, because we don't see him.
Yeah, Jabba's the third one. Yeah. And like, it's like, there's not too many new characters introduced. It's just furthering the story of Empire, these characters. And I love Return. I'll swear by it any day of the week. But then, you know, you have to get Han out of carbonite. So that's a great little mission with your crew. And then, you know, you have the battles going on. You get Luke with Vader, you get Han on the planet, then you get the battle with the familiar characters because Lando's up there blowing stuff up with Wedge. So there's not too many extra characters thrown in. So where I think this one went wrong is you have the remake, but then you have so many new characters introduced in the last, like Holdo's introduced and she just dies. And like then you kill off a lot of characters. And then I don't know, but this one introduces so many characters. And you know, I feel like the original, maybe you can't get away with that anymore, but it's sat on the scenes a little bit, right? Like you could live in it. You could absorb this world. Like, you know, when the Rancor keeper cries in Return of the Jedi, you feel it because you're like in this world.
Yeah,
in
buddy.
This film, you're
this
like,
baby.
Like, what was that? What was that? Wait. So
yeah,
there's just no time to like live, and then because of how disjointed the thing was, there's really no time to, you know, Carrie Fisher's death, and then they killed off all the main characters. And
they're like, oh shit, what do we do now? The actual actress died, like in real life.
We killed off Han. Luke's a Force ghost. So we're just, so it's just a bomb. Like, I don't know. It's kind of a bummer because you have Adam Driver, you have Daisy
who's
Ridley,
so good,
you have Oscar Isaac, you have John Boyega.
Yes.
You could have just lived with them. You don't need Burning Man.
Yeah.
You don't need Snake. You don't need. I love Babu Frick. No, keep Babu. He's a legend. Like you don't need any of that. And because the only reason they visit Zori is to steal her key.
But they didn't even know she was. Oh yeah, no, they did know they were.
You know what they could have named the movie instead of Rise of Skywalker, because no. This is a serious point.
I love the Lahey question.
Anytime I come to say something, you think it's going to be nonsense.
Because I know you, Nathaniel.
Stop it. This is something that went across the entirety of the movie. So I just recently watched it again just to like be familiar and go through. And it could have been the sacrifice of Skywalker, because that would have been all right. You win. Every character that you look through, there was an ongoing thing of sacrifice of some sort. C-3PO had the thing of, I want to look at my friends the last time. He wasn't going to remember anyone, but they needed this thing translated through Sith. He sacrificed that. Leia had to give her power up to do something to distract Ben, go through. She sacrificed her life to go through that. Yeah. There was all these things that happened, you know, at the end. Rey sacrificed to take out the Emperor, and then Ben came in and sacrificed himself to save Rey. It was just this ongoing thing. So it could have very well been the sacrifice of Skywalker, or just Star Wars episode 9 sacrifice.
Yeah, I like the sacrifice.
Yeah. I just had something click. Nathaniel, hold on. I just had something click that was in The Last Jedi when Rey and Kylo connect, and she's on whatever Luke's planet, which I can't think of what the name of it is at this moment. But and he's like
Porg Place.
Yeah.
Porg Place.
Hush you. And he's like, you're not and they're projecting to each other, right? And he's like, you couldn't do this. The Force alone would kill you, right? So that sets it up, or the effort would kill you. So that sets it up for Luke to die later. But also think about Leia dying, and the next one, when she's like projecting herself across the universe, her force, her essence, I hate that word, her essence to Ben.
And she didn't even finish her training. Maybe if she would have, you know, gotten those bootstraps pulled up a little bit, finished her responsibility, she wouldn't have died so quickly.
Eat glass, Nathaniel. No. You're wrong. She stopped her training because she thought it was going to save her kids. And you and I both know we'd do anything to save our kids.
And did it?
No.
So I guess you should get those bootstraps and
but
give
you can't change the past. Oh,
and it's kind of crazy too, because Last Jedi has that scene where Rose was like, "We don't commit suicide, like sacrifice." Remember, she saves.
Oh my
Finn.
God!
But then but Holdo kills herself in that movie. Holdo sacrificed herself, and then Luke sacrifices himself. But after her speech,
but they did it to save the people they loved. They're not going to win with anger.
I don't know. I like the idea that Holdo was like on that ship and was like, these bitches don't have a chance. I'm out. And she's just like in her mind, like sipping a cocktail. It's just like, I'm just going to go for it. Like, I'm just going to die because what else is going to happen? I don't know.
I'm just not going to tell anybody my plan. I'm just going to keep
She's like, bye.
But
I swear Leia knew, but she's passed out. So, you know.
I actually prefer the second two of the sequel trilogy because they're not rebookables. Like listen, the first one I rewatched.
Original content.
Yeah. Yes. And like it looks good. I think there's some neat story. Like I like the filmmaking, but it's just there's another Death Star and it blows up 5 planets. And you're
Yeah.
just there's another death planet. And then there's, Han dies like Obi-Wan dies. And like it's just you have a new kid on a desert planet who meets a
Yeah.
droid, and then they
Different
get
desert,
and
different droid.
you're just like,
Here we
oh
go.
my gosh. And
Yeah.
but then Last Jedi comes out and it's Last Jedi that either, a lot of the hate though was Russian bots. So I'm actually like wondering how many people
Ew.
yeah, like so if you look into it, they found out that 50% of the hate was just Russian bots going out there slagging on the movie.
Why? They
Never
have anything
trust
better to do.
never trust online. Whenever I see people, I'm like,
Truth.
who are you people? But just trust me, look it up. Last Jedi Russian
I
bots.
will.
But then like Rise of Skywalker is just it's barely a movie. And I
mean, yes.
but that's why I kind of love it, because it's not safe, if that makes sense. Like it's not, it's rushed.
It's chaos incarnate.
Yeah, there it is. And so you're watching it and you're just, why am I watching these space horses on a Star Destroyer? Like,
look at them running on with gravity and the whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, so Nathan, I want to hear your thoughts. How did a dagger with ancient runes on it get created to figure out where the Death Star is? And it knows exactly how the Death Star landed, and that there's a tiny little Emperor closet with a wayfinder, a Star Wars GPS.
Yeah, I gotcha right away. Accessorizing. So if you notice, the dagger had the little section that pulled out.
Yeah.
Right. That was an add-on. That was an accessory after the fact. So they had to hollow out the hilt to add that on. And as far as where it's gonna be, they just use the pre-existing dagger format. How everything is going. They're like, where does it match up? This thing's crashed there. And then they made accessory after the fact. So it wasn't like a predetermined, predestined thing. They just had to like work with what they had, which is kind of in the whole realm of this movie, kind of fitting for the theme.
I want that movie.
That's pretty good. And little do we know, Babu Frick is actually the one who retrofitted the blade with the extension.
No. Babu Frick doesn't deal with blacksmithing or anything. He's strictly robotics.
You don't know that?
I do know that.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do. That is
him.
what we had. Listen, if we're talking about what we had to go on from the movie and what it gave us, Babu Frick is strictly electronics. We didn't see him build anything. We didn't see him.
He was welding shit left and right.
Welding is not smithing. How dare you?
What?
I hope there
Excuse
aren't
me?
any blacksmiths that are listening.
Run a
Excuse
Google.
my wife, blacksmiths. Okay.
Excuse you.
I didn't offend anyone in this podcast.
Sir.
Not at all.
Talking.
How could you
Sleep on
weld
the couch.
Kylo's wing back? Because he flies straight at Rey. And then she times it. And then she cuts off
so
his
perfectly. She's like, I'm gonna run. Pew, 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 pew. Wha.
Listen, we've been using this as an excuse throughout the entire episode. The Force. Moving on.
I mean, yes.
Okay,
question.
I guess.
Question
But, like,
for the gents.
is she a diluted clone though? Like, so like, in Multiplicity, when you clone a clone, you get a dumber clone.
They get dumber clones.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So are there dumb Palpatines out there?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Why do you think they're all in the
I
cult?
don't doubt it.
Ayo!
They're all following the fingerless man.
So it's like a
Exactly.
clone of a
Maybe that's
clone of
where-
the clone makes a clone, and then Palpatine's like, I hate that guy. It's like,
God, that guy's the
hey,
worst. They're like,
Hey,
dude, he's you, but also he's like really far removed.
hey, Uncle
No.
Palpatine.
I got candy in my
I can make
pocket.
lightning with my fingers, and he's just like rubbing his
Pew,
feet
pew,
on the carpet to make static electricity.
Blow somebody up.
Yep.
Not again.
Oops.
Yeah, not
I can
stop
make
blowing
another
up.
one.
Yeah, so
I do have a question for the gents in the room, though. Okay. So for someone who, yes, as I've already confessed, like read the fan fiction, the moment between Rey and Ben at the end, when he sacrifices his life force to save her, right? So he force heals her in that moment. Something we didn't
Yeah,
know
he
he was able to do.
does.
Yeah, he does. Shut up. But also, yeah, he does. It's something that only like Jedis who follow the light are supposed to be able to do. So that's like this, it's supposed to be like a signifier of his transition over to the good side, the light side, right? And he heals her, they have a moment, they smooch, and then he kicks the bucket. As someone who like enjoyed fan fiction coming up into that film. I was like, yeah, we got a moment. How did it feel seeing that from your perspective? Did it feel, for lack of a better word, forced?
Was the kiss forced?
Yes,
Yes.
because there's.
Well, Mark, go ahead. You go first.
I mean,
I'm so curious.
if they got together, I wouldn't have minded because it's like I like both these people. I like these actors.
So good. They bring out the best in each other.
Yeah, and like they're powerful and they could just rule the universe however they want. But I always just hate tacked on kisses because they filmed one without the kiss and then one with the kiss. So it's not like an earned smooch. It's like, should we? We'll just throw it in there. And that's everything in this movie. We'll just throw it in there. So I think if it was handled better, I would like it. And I like the relationship. But also, I don't know, like, yeah, this movie's so like kind of this whole new franchise is kind of asexual as well. Like I think in Return, like in the other ones, you know, like Han's all about Leia and they're all smooching, then Luke and Leia, and then like Solo's in there, and then you got, I don't know, like I feel like there's some relationships in that one, but this one it's very point. The way that these two are played is just very.
There was an interview with, all right, I'm about to completely unleash my nerddom here, but there was an interview with Adam Driver where he talked about that scene with Rey in The Last Jedi, where they're in the elevator and they're gonna go talk to Snoke, and it's like the tension is there, and she's like, no, you're a good guy, and he's like, I don't know, and they're just like having a moment. And he talks about it where he's like, I felt like I should kiss her in that moment. Like the tension was so heavy in their chemistry in that scene. He's like, I felt it. And like if you're already in that headspace where you're like, these two are gonna bang, like you're kind of looking for it, which I can accept. But also the fact that he then said it later, I was like, oh shit. So it wasn't all in like our heads. It was like, oh, there was actually like some tension there. So then I kind of wonder if them adding it in the next one was an answer to like that interview where they were like, oh, people really liked it when he said they almost smooched.
I mean, it could have been just, fodder for the fan base to be like, this is what they want. But I think that, so if you're looking at just the movie itself, it can feel a little forced. But if you do kind of go through everything else and think about things and going through, and even there was a moment in Rise of Skywalker where he was like, you wanted to take my hand, I felt it, I did all those things. And she came back and she was like, I didn't want to take your hand, I wanted to take Ben's
hand, bitch.
And there were things like that. And as far as like the relationship they had and the things that they could do that other people couldn't, like there has to be some sort of kinship there. If there are people that can, if that go to the Olympics, that can, Simone Biles can do these things that no one else can do. And if someone else was like, I can do that too, then there's got to be that immediate camaraderie, respect, relationship,
connection,
potentially desire, connection. So I think in the moment where Rey has just died, and then she does come back and she finds that he is there and he has come back to help her fight and everything else, like she was happy to see him there. The last thing she saw is he got thrown into the abyss, and then she sacrifices herself to win the war essentially and take down the Sith, and all of a sudden she's brought back to life, and it's by Ben. So I can see it with all of that stuff that it is warranted. But if you're just looking at the movie and they didn't spend a whole lot of time together other than force projecting and fighting with sabers, it's like, why did they kiss? I think in the long run of things, it's absolutely, I was okay with it. But in the realm of the movie, I could see how some people are like, they didn't need to do that.
Boo.
Every scene in this movie makes sense if you write a book about it.
Everything needs
so Nathan's explanation was perfect about the smooch, but that's but
you need a novel.
And then but it was when he said it, I was like, that's a really good point. And then he's like, but they didn't, none of that is really covered.
None of it happened.
Other than the like I wanted to take your hand, I wanted Ben, and all of a sudden Ben is here, and there's this thing that she's wanted for him throughout the entirety of the movie and the trilogy, so that she is happy. And also, he's a pretty good looking guy.
When she sees
Harrison Ford's his dad,
When she sees him shirtless in Last Jedi, does she do like a lip bite or anything? I don't remember. Is she like, oh, dang?
No, she was like, oh my God, can you put on a
shirt?
But to be fair, she was like sexually stunted. The child grew up on a desert with a bunch of predators. So she's like, oh my God, naked torso.
Daisy Ridley, I love her in this movie, though. I think she put so much work in, the physicality. She's like, listen, I believed her. So, and what's cool? They're on the behind the scenes doc, they're talking about doing their own stunts. And Adam Driver's like, I do my own stunts. And the stunt coordinator's like, yeah, I'll put a stunt to you. He's like, no, I do my stunts. She's like, yeah. And she's like, no, I do them. So like he forced her with the hand motion, force power. But
This is
yeah,
not
so
the stunt double you're
it's
looking
like
for.
watching them fight on screen, they put in so much work and they
Yeah.
look really good, both of them together doing that. And I think, I think Daisy Ridley's really good, but she's forced to just do a lot of like gritty faces and stuff like,
Yeah. Oh
and
yeah.
like that. But
I'm in pain and confused.
they
Yeah.
never give her time. I think the biggest problem with Rise of Skywalker is they never give anybody in this film time to just exist. Like there's just, we gotta go. The plane's on fire. Watch every rebel on that stupid base. They're all running.
Always running.
Constantly.
They got to keep their cardio up.
It's like, here,
Great
get this.
cardio.
Like some guy throws some guy a box, and then that guy runs to another place and then
Yeah.
throws the box.
It's
And
like,
you're like, who'd
it's
that
like watching
box
a
go
Broadway
to?
musical. You're like, ha da da da, yeah, and then they like exit stage left, and you're like,
Like-
damn.
Like
It's
the
like the
Millennium
bar
Falcon-
scene in Greatest Showman. They're constantly throwing bottles
Oh my
and shot
God,
glasses
yeah.
and going
Yep,
through and passing things off. Yeah.
and you're just like, what? And then just the Millennium Falcon's on fire. Like, it's on fire. It's on fire. You're like, geez, guys, just chill out. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. I just wish
I feel like
that
that's
you
why
could
The
live with
Last
them.
Jedi was, yes, and I feel like that's why The Last Jedi was such a great film in that moment, because we got to see them just sit in it. Like,
Mhm.
which sounds weird, but like Kylo Ren and Rey, force connecting across universes, are literally just sitting there having a powwow about it is to
Yep.
be a force user, and like, hey, I got abandoned by my parents. This is crazy. You got to see them exist in their trauma, which was lovely from a like character study, but I will argue from an action film perspective, probably wasn't what people wanted.
But I
You know,
love
those-
But I
that.
liked that.
Yeah, exactly. And then there's none of that in this movie. It's just go, go. Like
None.
there's a joke about Liam Neeson. He's like, there's no time. There's no time. Like, so this movie, you could just, Star Wars Episode 9, there's no time.
There's
And
no
it's
time.
just-
Keep running.
And there's no time. Like Qui-Gon comes in going, there's no time. There's no
There's no
time.
time.
There's no time.
I mean, she is all the Jedi. He could have come back and said, there's no time.
There's no, and this movie, we have
There's no time.
16 hours left. Oh, we only
Mhm.
got 8 hours left. We only got 2 hours left. It's like,
Oh shit, run, bitch.
there's a
Yeah.
counting clock. They're going everywhere. They're meeting
Yeah.
people they don't need to meet. It's just, it's like,
Ugh.
it's kind of like National Treasure. They turned Star Wars into National Treasure. Like, this is a treasure hunt. And you're just,
It is a treasure hunt. That's
Yeah,
exactly what it is.
it's a treasure hunt movie. And
Yeah.
and then
yeah.
it's Palpatine. So
Mm.
but once again, this movie goes
It
by
felt like an
really
easy
quick.
fix.
This movie goes by really quick. And on the rewatch, I just kind of enjoyed it because I'm like, this is insane. And I just had a big smile on my
Yeah.
face. I think sometimes people can watch these films and be super angry about it. But I guess I'm the type of Star Wars fan. Like, I have all my Star Wars Legos. I beat kids with Star Wars
Mm.
tattoos and Star Wars Trivial Pursuit. I love Star
Ah,
Wars.
ah.
I
All my
think
Star
Return of
Wars
the Jedi started my love of creature features. But like,
Mhm.
but I'm not, it's not my franchise. You know what I mean? So I'm not, and also businesses make mistakes like this, going in with 3 different directors, 3 different scripts, no archery. Like
Yeah.
you just, I don't know, like people make mistakes. They wanted IP, they went for it fast, and things happen. Like I can't, I'm not
agree.
gonna say it's gonna wreck my life because there's so much Star Wars, like Nathan said, there's so much Star Wars out there that I like. I love Andor. I love, like Mandalorian was a lot of fun. I think there's a
Oh my
lot
God,
to
so
like about the prequels, and maybe it was just the time
Mhm.
that when they came out. Like I remember how it blew up the internet back in the 90s, Phantom Menace, like with the
Mhm.
trailer and the downloads, and I grew up with this franchise, and so I just hate when like it's perfect and then you hate it when it has a little bit of a falter. I hate it more. Like I love it, I hate it. And that's not like that. It's just like, oh, well, I still like it, but that was weird. So
Yeah. I'll say this,
yeah, go for it.
Mark, I think to your point, you said earlier to like draw back to when we first started talking about this was like the beauty of the prequels, even though I'm not the biggest fan of them because I do feel like they were made in a lot of ways to sell more toys than anything else, which is my whole whatever. They were still all cohesive, right? Like they had a plan and it fit together. Like the arc made sense. But this one, it kind of went like in the middle and then was like, let's try to fix that in the last one. And then they kind of just set off new sparks that didn't really draw through lines to where we started with this trilogy.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of where it went haywire, is either people needed to just like, they either needed to double down after The Last Jedi and be like, nope, this is canon now, bitches. You're just going to have to accept it, or do what they did, which was like JK, that was just, we had a bad day. Let's offset this with some new storylines, which I think is like what they did. So why it feels disjointed.
In this one, there was no through line. You had a guy who wrote a script and a guy who wrote another script and a guy who wrote a script fixing what the other guy did in the script. So and you know what I hate too is I hate when like you have Daisy Ridley in the forefront and she's leading this, but then this movie comes out and like this movie's a legitimate mess. And so, but then that leaves room for just main characters. Like it's like the haters then can jump on it. You know what I mean? Like it's but they're like, well, you actually have a point. But like they're just using it to be. But this one's odd because there's Force Awakens Defenders. There's Last Jedi, one of the most polarizing movies ever. That's a 50-50 split, which is a good thing. You should feel something when you watch movies. I feel like most people, when you talk about Rise of Skywalker, they're like, yeah. But
did love how it ended, kind of a thing.
But it's very entertaining because it's insane.
Yes. Well, and that comes down to the fundamental question too of, as someone who has been obsessed with film forever and was a film major like 100 years ago, it feels like what is the purpose of it? Is the purpose to create feeling? Is the purpose to give you some sort of dissociation from your everyday, to give you hope? Is it to make you think and discuss it after the fact? Because we could talk about this movie clearly ongoing for hours and still never come to a full conclusion of like, what was the point? But not in a bad way. And like we all experienced it differently. And that's kind of the magic of it, I think, is like you can take what you want from this in a lot of ways.
What's
based on how you come at it?
What's the art? What do you get out of this franchise? Nathan, sum it up.
Star Wars in general, or like
these three films? Like what
these three what do we get out of it? Let's see here. Sacrifice, redemption, nostalgia. Those are my three. What do you got?
That's about
three
it.
Things that you get out of here.
Babu
you can't say sacrifice, nostalgia,
Babu Frick,
or Babu Frick.
Obviously, Babu Frick.
Okay.
A shirtless Adam Driver.
That's the second thing that came into my mind.
Because it should be. And I think hope. I think hope is I know that's the lamest answer I could possibly come up with. But if you look at any of the, the trilogies as trilogies and not as the whole franchise, within each one, it's this like through layer of hope, right? Rebellions are built on hope. Like that's how it's mentioned every time in everything you watch. It's like, that is how you get there, is hope. There's just a little bit of hope. Someone has to be a beacon of hope. And yes, sacrifice has to happen and all that. But it's like remembering that in the end, hope is what will see you through like a really hard time. And for me, it's when the world around us is a hot shit show, I'm going to watch, honestly, I mean, I probably won't watch Rise of Skywalker, but I would watch, babe, what's the one I watched that I'm like, I'm having a moment where I'm like, this is my sad version.
Encino Man.
In the army now.
I hate you all. No, Rogue One. That's what I was going for. The hopeless hope story. They're gonna die when you start the movie because they literally talk about it in A New Hope. But you watch it because they're gonna die, but they're gonna die for a good reason. But also, that's kind of the world, right? And so going into Rise of Skywalker and like this whole trilogy, here we go again. History is repeating itself. Ain't that a bitch? But you know what? We can still come out of it again. And here's like how we get there.
At the end of every movie in this new trilogy, there was, because at the end of Force Awakens, she's finding Luke. There's the hope there that she's going to learn something from him.
No, learns nothing.
Yeah. He learns nothing. He throws it into the sea.
God.
At the end of Last Jedi, we find that Rey is this person that could save everything. She's the Last Jedi. And at the end of Rise of Skywalker, the rebellion is won. She is all of the Jedi. She's going to presumably go on and teach. She's got a new fancy lightsaber that's all hers now.
And she got a new last name?
She got a new last name. That's because you can have all the last names. You got all the last names. How about you, Mark? What do you got? And you can't say shirtless Adam Driver because my wife already said it.
Because
Adam Driver with a shirt.
Okay, there you go.
Yes, okay, sweaty Adam Driver. Can we continue? I can give you more visuals. It's
so
fine.
The first one you watch Luke and Leia become Jedi Masters and defeat the Empire, and Han becomes a better person. It's very easy to sum up. Lucas's trilogy, it's just the downfall of Anakin. Very simple.
Mm-hmm.
I like the hopeless hope for Rogue One. This new trilogy, Ben's dead. Han's dead, Leia's dead, Luke's dead.
Yoda's still dead.
You,
Still dead. Haven't brought that man back. Well,
dude,
not
it's a
man.
trap is dead now. He gets blown
The
up
baby.
unceremoniously in the second one. Admiral Akbar.
Yeah.
There's
But maybe
I
that's
get
what they need.
I
We have a
get
clean palette. We have cleansed the palette, if you
okay.
will, of the
The
Skywalkers.
3 words. Whoops. And then and then we did it.
Didn't know one of those was going to be an onomatopoeia. I love it.
Like,
Eh,
it's
done.
I don't know the message you get. What's I don't know. Like, Rose is talking about hope, but she gets completely sidelined.
She does. It's like the after happily ever
Guys,
after.
she had
like,
to study
just
the
kidding.
whole blueprints of the new Star Destroyer. She said it. I gotta go look
I mean,
at the
Leia
new...
needed her.
I know.
So
It's just
sad.
Look, her contributions were off camera, okay?
Look,
But they were big and they were mighty.
she and Finn tried, but they just, let's be real, Finn was just too hot for Poe. That's why. That's why it didn't work.
I love that they brought in
They just-
girlfriends for both of them. Just like, all right, guys,
They're like,
settle it down.
they're super straight, guys.
I don't think there's anything learned from this other than go into it with a plan.
Your guiding light, no matter what you should. I'm in marketing, right? So go back to that every time. You go back to what is your goal? What are you trying to communicate? At the end of the day, everything you do to promote something or to be a part of a franchise should speak to that goal. And they should look at that and be like, what's the point? Does this answer the point in some way? If not, goes.
And I don't think this trilogy had that. Like when they
you're
started,
right.
they're like, what's the point of this trilogy? Money?
Money.
When Sofia Coppola shot Virgin Suicides, she was the first time director, and the one word she used for everybody was loss. So everyone in the crew was down with her because she knew the movie to the letter. She knew everything about it. She knew what it was, and her crew rallied around her. But this one, it was just, I don't know. It's an odd
a
one.
lot of pandering.
Yeah.
But I appreciated it. I say that knowing that I fully appreciated what was happening. And when I walked out of The Force Awakens, I was like, I mean, there was a lot of pandering, but God, if I didn't love every second of it. And I think by the time we got to The Rise of Skywalker, I was kind of like getting past the pandering and was, oh, we're going to like get somewhere new. We're going to set up the next stage of this universe. And instead it was like, JK, she's going to be a Skywalker. She was a Palpatine. Good luck.
JJ's not the guy you hire to take a new direction. If you Super 8, like Mission Impossible, like he's I think Star Trek was okay just because he just made it propulsive, and then he left it, and then he did Wrath of Khan. Everyone's like, oh no, but he's not the guy. He's not that guy. So if it's a friend,
it's a beautiful universe. He paints a pretty picture, but like to your point, propelling it forward into a new era, I don't think is there.
You know what? Maybe they did have an idea of what they didn't have an idea about, because we see it. No, just go with me for a second. Take this journey. You heard it about 8 times. It's like the same thing in X-Men First Class that just makes me want to like they force the mutant and proud so many times. I'm just like, can we
cringe?
not?
Yeah.
And the mutant and proud of this movie is, what were you going to tell Rey? How many times they bring it up, and it was always like, I don't know. It was never said. So I think either consciously or unconsciously they knew, because why else would that come up 7 times in the movie? And I think on that note, maybe that's how we should end the discussion of Rise of Skywalker. Hey, honey, what do you think Finn had to say to Rey that was so important?
This feels like the Lost in Translation, like Scarlett Johansson whispering.
Yes, exactly.
Right? Yeah. Let's see. Oh, I don't want it to be I love you. I am your father. Rey, I am your father. No, I think he was just gonna tell her that he felt the Force, but I think she knew that. So I don't know that there was really like a good pivot. I think that's why they didn't say it. It's because everyone was like, well, duh. No matter what he said, whoever heard it was going to be like, obviously. I love you, obviously. I have the Force, obviously.
I know.
Better just not to answer it. I know.
I would have expected him to say he's been trying to get in touch with her about her extended warranty on the Millennium
You're the
Falcon.
worst. You're the worst.
Meaning to talk to her about it.
Worst.
Hey, Rey, I'm in this movie Attack the Block. You should watch it. Oh, okay.
Say, Ray, you like
My agent's been trying to get a hold of
giant
you.
monsters fighting giant robots? I'm in the second one. It's not as good, but you can
It's
check
like
it
the
out.
first one, but not as great.
You could
Yeah.
save 15% or
Oh.
more on your sky spaceship insurance.
Insurance by switching to Finco. Oh,
That'd be funny if they
sad.
do like 10 years later and he's just an insurance juggernaut.
Finn knows where it's at. He's
You know,
like,
Finn
remember this time I
knows
destroyed a
garbage
starship?
disposal stuff. He knows,
Guess
you
what?
know, the spaceship's weaknesses and janitorial services. I mean, he could really
Oh,
go
yeah,
into that and
that's
really like
true.
use his knowledge of space stations and sanitary conditions to probably do some risk warranty stuff.
That's true. You know, you got to see it from the inside. See how the sausage is made before you can offer solutions, if
And
you
who
will.
better than to tell first and to try to make his pitch than his bestest, lovingest friend Ray?
If you got her backing, she'd be like a great celebrity sponsor.
Dude,
I know.
can you see her? Like, I saved 15% by switching to Finco Insurance on the Falcon.
I save the universe, but if you really want to save
And to save.
and save big, look at Finco.
Done. I'm in.
And then he
Celebrity
just come in
endorsements,
from the
they work.
side. That's
Just
right.
slide in.
I'm Finn, formerly known as FN2187. But that's a different story.
1-800
I love
Trader.
it.
One.
Oh,
There it
God,
is.
I mean,
That's
There
it.
it
We
is.
did it.
We did it.
Woo!
All right.
Solved
This
the
was great.
mysteries of Rise of Skywalker.
Well, thank you. I know
Jeez.
I know I talked in circles a lot, but you know, that's what this movie does.
It's
it was
what the
on
trilogy
brand.
does over and over.
You
No, it's what
there's
this
no
film
depth
does,
to
Nathan.
it, so you just have to ask questions the whole time, but there's no
Yeah.
answers to those questions. So you're just
Here we
wait,
are,
what?
still talking about it, right?
Why was that lizard there? So it proved that she could heal things.
What else was she gonna
But
heal,
what
Mark?
happened to the lizard? What about the lizard story?
And why is there
Yeah.
quick? So did they fall into quicksand specifically to find a lizard?
They fell
And then
into, I believe it was 30 tons of black beans.
They
You know
ate
what?
their way
God,
out?
film.
No,
Almost
look it up.
claustrophobia.
I think it was on IMDb. I may be overshooting the tonnage of the beans, but they were black beans that they sent in for the quicksand or whatever the heck
For
it
them to
was.
soak through.
Oh, they could have
Exactly.
been Lima. Lima would be better.
Lima
right.
would be so much better.
I love a
Look like
lima
sand.
bean. Not
Mm.
baked though. Well, I'm gonna go call
Ew.
Finco. So thank you so much for joining me, Nathan and Elyce. This
Thanks
was
for
wonderful.
letting me crash, you guys.
No,
Appreciate it.
absolutely. No, it's great. It was great. So for me, Mark Hoffmeyer, and for Nathan and Elyce Lahaye, this is Movies from the Flicks. We'll see you next week.